There has been new compelling proof discovered at Roswell's UFO website that might show an alien craft crashed in 1947, and this is what consultants are saying. Before we get into today's video, I want to let you guys know that we have just opened up two brand new YouTube channels. One called Simply Gaming, where we are keeping you up to date with all of the latest gaming news. We're also going to be doing live streams over there, follow along, let's plays, gameplay, all the rest of it, community games. It's going to be a great time. So if you're interested in gaming news and updates and games in general, get over there and subscribe to that channel. There will be a link down in the description and the pinned comment. And the other channel is called Simply Strange, where we take a look at some of the most popular videos on the internet and try to find little flaws in it to see if they're really what the creators want you to think that they are. But be sure to go over and subscribe to those channels if that is something that you guys are interested in. There are already videos over there for you guys to sink your teeth into, but I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Let's get on. And this comes from rapduma.pl, which I believe is a Polish website, but it has been converted into English. And this is what we are going to be talking about in particular. So, America's most well-known UFO case remains to be producing extra proof as scientists and civilians are on the mission to show that the Roswell crash was not of this world. In 1947, an incident made headlines when the US military air power issued a press launch stating that it had recovered particles from a, quote, flying disc. Solely later, to reverse course, claiming that the fabric had actually simply belonged to a downed climate balloon. Always the way. Geologist Frank Kimbler is among many of the consultants who have challenged the Navy's official model of what crashed on the outskirts of New Mexico City. The place he was scourged and alleged UFO crash website, the Steel Detector, since 2010. Kimbler has since uncovered more than 20 uncommon scraps of steel material, most no larger than a fingernail, and has now submitted one uniquely odd steel for testing on the Discovery Channel's new sequence Alien Encounters Truth or Fiction. Testing revealed that the steel was 100% pure aluminium, which consultants mentioned was compelling proof that might show aliens crashed within the space a long time in the past. Geologist Frank Kimbler uncovered more 20 uncommon scrap pieces of steel materials, most no larger than a fingernail, and has now submitted one uniquely odd steel for testing in the Discovery Channel's new... Has that been... Yeah, so that was just a rehash, sorry. Kimbler, above, together with his potential UFO crash pattern, which of course is in this little jar here, had pulled this roughly quarter-inch steel fragment from an anthill. What a place to find it. The place that bugs had saved it. He submitted the aluminium pattern for testing by the brand new Discovery Channel sequence. It keeps rehashing itself. I think it's the way that it's been translated into English, so I apologise for that. Quote, I used to be actually attempting to champion reality, although all through the brand new sequence, co-host Chrissy Newton informed DailyMail.com, including that she was not afraid to debunk a couple of celebrated UFO instances, if that is the place for information led. I wish to show that it is identifiable, Newton mentioned. Not everybody's gonna like that. However, Newton discovered the checks on the pure aluminium thriller steel to be compelling. She mentioned partially as a result of the former Pentagon UFO investigator has informed her that pure aluminium has been linked to a number of different UFO crash websites. Very interesting indeed. Whereas Newton didn't title her Pentagon supply, she described them as, quote, a supply previously from ATIP, which of course has been rebranded into now AARO, A-A-R-O. The US Navy's Superior Aerospace Risk Identification Program, from which 2007 to 2012 had been tasked partially with learning UFOs. And this is the piece of scrap that we are talking about. So it's about 5mm tall, 8mm wide. So it is absolutely... It's probably about the size of my thumbprint, or my thumbnail, sorry. Most aluminium in use are anodized aluminium. Dr. Hussein Famous, a course of that creates a skinny layer of aluminium reacted with oxygen to seal inside the aluminium from rust, like degradation brought on by reactions with the air. This pattern, he mentioned, had not been anodized. I do apologise for struggling to stumble my way through this. I think it's just the way that Google has translated it from Polish to English the sentencing is all off. Kimbler, who teaches earth science and geology on the New Mexico Navy Institute, informed Newton and her co-host that he had pulled this explicit steel fragment, roughly a quarter-inch lengthy, from an anthill throughout the Roswell particles subject. Testing anthills for ant-harvested metals, the geologist famous has been a standard tactic for gold prospectors, mining geologists, and steel detector hobbyists alike. The insect colonies are identified for amassing sturdy and generally buried supplies for their construct their tunnels techniques, in keeping with Jim Davis of Utah's Geology Survey. Quote, due to the ants undertaking, prospectors have found wealthy loads of gold, copper, nickel, turquoise, diamonds, and lots of different minerals, Davis mentioned. Over time, Kimbler has been open to lots of the steel fragments is recovered from the Notorious Crash website may need an extra earthbound clarification. So, obviously, this was it's one of the infamous photos of the alleged crash site. But long story short is that basically there have been new pure aluminium sources that have been recovered from Roswell that could identify that the crash was not actually of a man-made source like the government want you to believe. And it might actually point towards something extraterrestrial. Now, this is a very, very, very long article, so I will be linking it down in the description for you guys to check out if you so wish to go and continue to read it. But be warned, it's tough to read, especially if you convert it through Google AI. But there is something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about before we sign off for today, and that is, if you've been living in the UK, you'll probably be aware that Just Stop Oil, who are a protesting group against climate change and things like this, they've been doing the rounds over the past 12 to 24 hours. They went to Stonehenge, which of course is a national site here in the UK. Just stones that have just appeared in a weird formation. Nobody knows how, nobody knows why, but it is a protected site. Well, Just Stop Oil went over and they painted it orange, as you can see from this. But this is not, well, there's the paint, and there's the protesters right there. So it was a 21-year-old and a 64-year-old, I believe. But they also went over, just for anyone that's interested, they did go into Stansted Airport. They broke in and sprayed private jets. And they attempted to spray Taylor Swift's personal private jet after it landed there for her Eras tour. Anyway, side note. Back to the point though. Skyfire News has released a statement that says an orb UFO was seen above Stonehenge today as protesters sprayed it with paint. So obviously we're all focused on this. We're all focused on the protesters, the colour of the Stonehenge now. By the way, it does wash off apparently, so it wasn't anything too sinister. But up here was this strange little orb sighted, which was incredibly strange, and people were like, what? Now, you could probably just think, well, that's just a trick of the camera, you know, it's just caught the light badly, and maybe there's a little speck on the lens. Well, different angle, same orb. Take a look at this. Again, you can see the Stonehenge obviously been painted, so we're in the same time zone. The police had arrived by this point to arrest the protesters, but look at this. Up in the sky, the same little orb. Now, obviously, we can't say for certain, it's just a picture. We can't say for certain whether it is an orb or whether it's a bird flying past and we've just caught it, but it's incredibly strange. I wanted to include it. What do you guys think? Well, let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. What do you think about this Roswell thing? I'll be keeping a close eye on that. I'm very intrigued by that. And I am also really intrigued by the orb that was sighted at Stonehenge. But Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Again, sorry for rambling through the post. It was very difficult to read, but I will be linking it down below so you can thoroughly read it for yourselves if you wanted a bit more context. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Tick on my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload to the channel. And until next time, I hope that you guys have enjoyed, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.